The massive screen in Earth's United Defense Force headquarters lit up with strange signals. Admiral James Stone stood before it, his weathered face reflecting the pulsing lights. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared him for what he was seeing. Unknown objects moving at impossible speeds at the edge of the solar system. "Sir, the objects just passed Jupiter's orbit," reported Lieutenant Rogers from his monitoring station. "They're not following any known flight patterns." Stone rubbed his chin, studying the data streaming across multiple screens. Humanity had achieved impressive technological advances in the past decade. Colonies on Mars, mining operations on Europa, and the first successful tests of faster-than-light travel. But these objects moved with a precision that made Earth's best ships look like children's toys. "Get me the Defense Council," Stone ordered, his voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. "And someone wake up Dr. Miller at the Science Division." Before anyone could act on his orders, every screen in the command center flickered and went dark. When they came back online, they displayed a single message in glowing text. "CEAC, all space exploration activities. This is your ONLOYWAR. ING." The message repeated in every major language on Earth. Stone's first thought was that it was a hack, but the military's quantum encryption made that impossible. This was something else entirely. In the Galactic Empire's High Council chamber, thousands of light-years away, General Rex stood before the assembled leaders. The massive circular room housed representatives from 1,000 conquered worlds, all unified under the Empire's banner over 10,000 years of expansion. "The species calls themselves humans," Rex explained, his voice echoing in the chamber. "They've progressed from primitive atmospheric flight to near-light-speed travel in less than 200 years. Our projections show they will achieve full spacefaring capability within a decade." Council Elder Vex leaned forward on his floating platform. "Such rapid advancement is impossible. No species can evolve their technology at that rate." Rex activated a hologram showing Earth's technological progression. "Not only possible, but they're doing it by reverse engineering crashed scout ships we lost centuries ago. They possess a dangerous combination of intelligence and resourcefulness." The council chambers erupted in concerned murmurs. The Empire had encountered thousands of species, but none had ever managed to understand Imperial technology without guidance, let alone improve upon it. "We've sent the warning as per standard protocol," Rex continued. "But I must advise, these humans are different. They show no signs of the fear or submission we typically see from developing worlds. Their military structures suggest they will fight rather than submit." Back on Earth, the global response to the alien message was anything but submission. Emergency meetings in every major capital led to an unprecedented event: the complete unification of Earth's military forces under a single command. In the Pentagon's War Room, Admiral Stone addressed the newly formed Earth Defense Council. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've spent decades preparing for this possibility. Every nation has contributed to our planetary defense systems. The Mars colonies are armed. The Europa base is ready. We are not helpless." Dr. Anna Miller, chief of the Science Division, stepped forward. "The warning message used quantum entanglement principles we've only theorized about. But the fact that we could detect their ships at all means they're not as advanced as they want us to believe. Their technology has limits." Stone nodded. "Exactly. They're strong enough to threaten us, but not so strong that we can't fight back. The real question is, why warn us at all?" The answer came sooner than anyone expected. Long-range sensors detected a massive fleet emerging from what appeared to be tears in space itself. The Empire had decided that humanity's response to their warning, continued space activity and military preparation, warranted immediate action. As alarms blared across every human settlement from Earth to Mars, Admiral Stone stood at his command post, watching the incoming fleet. A slight smile crossed his face as he gave his first order of the war. "Launch Operation Broken Shield. Let's show them why you don't threaten a species that turned crossing the cosmos into a weekend hobby. The first shots of humanity's greatest war were about to be fired, and the Galactic Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating their newest enemy. The Empire's first attack was meant to be a simple show of force. Their massive ships, each the size of a small city, dropped out of light speed near Mars. General Rex watched from his command ship, expecting the primitive humans to surrender at the mere sight of their superior fleet. He was wrong. "Sir, we're detecting energy signatures from the human fleet," reported his sensor officer. "They're different from our initial scans." Rex stepped closer to the main display. The human ships were smaller, more angular than the Empire's smooth, organic designs. But something wasn't right. Their energy readings were far too high for their size. "Launch the first wave," Rex ordered. Standard containment pattern. 300 Empire ships moved forward, their weapons charging. According to thousands of years of Imperial doctrine, this would be enough firepower to subjugate a dozen worlds. Admiral Stone watched from his command center as the enemy approached. "All ships, maintain position. Wait for my mark." His voice was steady, almost casual. Behind him, Dr. Miller monitored readings from their new shield systems. Technology reverse-engineered from those crashed alien ships and improved by human innovation. The Empire ships fired first. Streams of plasma energy crossed the space between the fleets. It was enough firepower to melt a continent. "Now," Stone ordered. The human fleet disappeared. General Rex blinked in confusion. "Report." "They've activated some kind of cloaking technology," his officer stammered. "But that's impossible. Our sensors should be able to." The human fleet reappeared, behind the Empire's formation. Their ships had somehow jumped through space itself, using a crude but effective version of the Empire's own technology. "All ships, open fire," Stone commanded. "Show them what humanity has learned." The human weapons weren't elegant. They weren't beautiful. They were brutal, effective combinations of Earth's best military technology and reversed-engineered alien systems. Rail guns firing plasma-wrapped projectiles, nuclear-powered laser arrays, missiles carrying miniature gravity bombs. Empire ships began exploding. Impossible. Rex slammed his fist on his command console. "Their weapons, they're using our own technology against us." "Sir," his tactical officer called out, "the humans are using attack patterns we've never seen. They're not following any standard combat doctrine." Stone's voice came over all channels, broadcasting on the Empire's own frequencies. "You thought we'd just roll over and die. Humanity hasn't survived this long by being weak. We adapt. We evolve. We take what works and make it better." The battle continued for 6 hours. The Empire's first wave, meant to subjugate Earth, instead became a lesson in human warfare. Ships fought in formations that made no sense to Imperial tactical computers, but proved devastatingly effective. When Empire vessels adapted to one strategy, the humans simply changed tactics. "Fall back," Rex finally ordered. "All ships, emergency retreat." As the surviving Empire ships fled, Admiral Stone didn't order pursuit. Instead, he opened a channel to General Rex. "Consider this our response to your warning," Stone said. "We don't want war with the Empire, but if you force one on us, you'll learn why every human child knows the story of David and Goliath." In the Empire's High Council chamber, the mood was darker than it had been in centuries. General Rex stood before them again, but this time there was no confidence in his posture. "The humans," he reported, "have weapons that shouldn't exist. Tactics our computers can't predict. They've taken our technology and changed it, made it unpredictable, dangerous in ways we never imagined." Council Elder Vex leaned forward. "How many ships did we lose?" 212, Rex answered. "Out of 300. And the humans?" He paused, almost unable to believe his own words. "They lost only 23 vessels." The council chamber erupted in shocked voices. Such losses were unheard of. Impossible. We have two choices, Rex continued. We can send our main fleet now, overwhelm them with pure numbers. Or, Elder Vex prompted. Or we admit we've discovered something new in the galaxy. A species that doesn't know they're supposed to lose. Back on Earth, Admiral Stone watched the enemy fleet retreat. He knew this was just the beginning. The Empire wouldn't give up after one defeat, but humanity had shown they weren't helpless. They weren't primitive. They were something the Empire had never encountered before. A species that turned the impossible into their daily routine. 3 days after their first victory, Earth's war machine was running at full speed. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Miller worked with a team of scientists examining debris from destroyed Empire ships. The laboratory hummed with activity as hundreds of researchers studied alien technology day and night. Admiral Stone, you need to see this, Dr. Miller called out as Stone entered the lab. She held up what looked like a small crystal. This isn't just a power source. It's alive. Stone raised an eyebrow. Alive. The Empire grows their technology, she explained, pointing to microscope images. Their ships are partially organic. That's why they're so hard to copy. But we found something better, a way to make them work with our machines. Before Stone could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. A junior officer rushed in. Sir, long-range sensors detect multiple Empire fleets. At least 3,000 ships. Stone remained calm. How long? They'll reach Mars in 6 hours. Dr. Miller. Stone turned to the scientist. Tell me you have something we can use. She smiled. Better. We have something they won't expect. In space, General Rex led the Empire's massive second wave personally. His flagship, twice the size of the others, headed the formation. The loss of their first attack had shaken the Empire's confidence, but surely no primitive species could stand against the combined might of 3,000 warships. All ships in position, his commander reported. The humans appeared to be gathering their fleet near their red planet. Rex studied the tactical display. The human fleet seemed smaller than before. Either they hadn't recovered from the first battle, or they were hiding something. Given their previous encounter, Rex suspected the latter. Launch probe ships first, Rex ordered. He wouldn't underestimate them again. The Empire's probe ships moved forward, their sensors scanning for any tricks. They found nothing unusual. The human fleet waited in standard formation, no sign of their previous tactical innovation. General, his science officer called out. Something's wrong. The human ships, their energy signatures are different. Different how? Before the officer could answer, the human fleet opened fire. But instead of weapons, they launched what appeared to be small, glowing pods. The Empire's sensors identified them as simple missiles, primitive technology that posed no threat to their advanced shields. Rex allowed himself a smile. Had the humans exhausted their advanced weapons already? The pods exploded before reaching the Empire ships. But instead of detonations, they released clouds of microscopic particles. The Empire's organic ships automatically absorbed them, just as they absorbed space debris for self-repair. That's when everything went wrong. Sir, multiple ships reporting system failures. His commander shouted. The organic components are fighting each other. Dr. Miller's voice came over all channels. Like your ships, General. We call it the evolution virus. Your organic technology is impressive, but it has one weakness. It can be reprogrammed, just like human DNA. Horror spread across Rex's face as he watched dozens of Empire ships shut down, their living components turned against themselves by the human weapon. It wasn't destruction. It was subversion on a cellular level. Pull back the affected ships, Rex ordered. But it was too late. The virus was spreading ship to ship through the Empire's own repair protocols. Stone's voice joined the broadcast. This is your last chance, General. Retreat or watch your entire fleet become part of humanity's defense network. In the chaos, Rex noticed something else. The human fleet was moving differently now, using his own ship's disabled hulks as cover. They had adapted their tactics to take advantage of their new weapon in less than 6 hours. All unaffected ships, emergency retreat, Rex commanded. He watched helplessly as nearly 800 of his ships drifted powerless in space, their organic systems permanently altered by human ingenuity. Back in the mountain laboratory, Dr. Miller watched the Empire fleet's retreat on the main screen. "They'll adapt to this weapon," she said. "Their organic technology will develop immunity." Stone nodded. "How long?" "Maybe 2 weeks. But by then," she gestured to her team, "already working on new projects, we'll have something new. That's the real difference between us and them. Admiral, they perfect one way of doing things. We never stop finding new ways. How many of their disabled ships can we convert? All of them. And when we're done, they won't just be Empire ships with human pilots. They'll be something entirely new, something that's never existed before." Stone smiled. The Empire had started this war expecting to find primitive savages. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest talent, the ability to take any challenge and turn it into an opportunity. The real question was, what would humanity become by the time this war was over? Admiral Stone stood before the combined Earth Defense Council, his expression grim. The room was silent as the massive screen behind him showed their current situation. After 2 weeks of constant battles, both sides had learned and adapted. The Empire's ships were now immune to the evolution virus, and they had positioned massive fleets at every major route to Earth. "They're trying to starve us out," Stone explained, "cutting off our supply lines to Mars and Europa. But they've made one critical mistake." He pressed a button, and the display zoomed out to show the entire solar system. "They think like an empire. We think like survivors." Captain Tom Wilson stepped forward. As Earth's best guerrilla warfare expert, he had spent the last week working with Dr. Miller on a new plan. "Operation Trojan is ready, sir." In his flagship, General Rex watched the human forces with growing concern. The past 2 weeks had cost the Empire more ships than they had lost in the last 1,000 years. Even with their numerical advantage, every victory came at a terrible price. "General," his sensor officer called out, "the humans are moving. Their main fleet is gathering near their moon." Rex studied the readings. After countless battles, he had learned to fear human surprises. But this looked different. The human fleet was forming into a classic attack pattern, almost like. "They're desperate," Rex realized aloud. "They're going to try to break through our blockade." A smile crossed his face. Finally, the humans were acting predictably. Admiral Stone sat in his command chair aboard the flagship Humanity's Hope. Around him, the bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency. "All ships report ready," his communications officer announced. "Begin Operation Trojan," Stone ordered. "Captain Wilson, you have tactical control." The human fleet surged forward, charging directly at the Empire's strongest blockade point. It was exactly what General Rex expected. A desperate attack by a cornered enemy. "All ships, combat formation," Rex commanded. "Prepare tow." "Sir," his tactical officer interrupted. "The human ships, their power readings are off the scale." The human fleet's engines were glowing far brighter than normal, pushing them to impossible speeds. Empire gunners opened fire, but the humans pressed forward, taking hits without slowing. "They've gone mad," Rex muttered. "They're going to ram us." But ramming wasn't the plan. Just as the human fleet reached the Empire's lines, Captain Wilson gave the real order. "All ships, activate FTL cores." What happened next would be studied in military academies for centuries. The humans had modified their faster-than-light drives, turning them into weapons. Each ship activated its FTL core, but didn't jump. Instead, they created hundreds of small, localized gravity wells, artificial black holes that lasted for just seconds. Space itself twisted. Empire ships were caught in impossible gravitational forces, their organic hulls unable to cope with the stress. Dozens of ships were torn apart. Others were pulled into each other, their shields failing on impact. Secondary phase, now, Wilson commanded. From behind Earth's moon, where they had been hidden from Empire sensors, came the real attack. A fleet of smaller, faster ships, the converted Empire vessels from their previous victory, streaked into the chaos. They targeted the gaps in the Empire's formation created by the gravity weapons. "We're being attacked from multiple vectors," Rex's commander reported, his voice shaking. "Our formation is broken. We can't." A gravity wave hit Rex's flagship, throwing him to the deck. When he stood, what he saw on his tactical display defied belief. The humans hadn't just broken through their lines. They had split the Empire's blockade in two. Nearly a third of his fleet was destroyed or disabled, and the rest were scattered, their carefully planned formation shattered. "All ships, fall back," Rex ordered. "Regroup at." "Sir," his communications officer cut in, "we're detecting more human ships. They're attacking our other blockade points." The same tactic. In Earth's command center, Dr. Miller watched the battle unfold. "The gravity weapon will only work once," she said. "They'll find a way to counter it." Stone nodded. "Once is all we needed. We've shown them something they've never seen before. A species that turns faster than light travel into a weapon. How long until they realize we already have 3 more strategies ready to deploy?" The tide of war had turned. The Empire had come expecting to find primitives playing with technology they didn't understand. Instead, they found humans, a species that looked at the impossible and asked, "How can we use this?" And for the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Empire knew fear. The Empire's High Council chamber had never been so quiet. The usual floating platforms carrying the council members were grounded, a sign that this was no ordinary meeting. General Rex stood in the center, his uniform still bearing scorch marks from the last battle. "In 3 weeks, Rex began, his voice echoing in the silence, "humans have destroyed more Empire ships than all other species combined in the last 1,000 years. But that's not the worst part." He activated a hologram showing Earth's fleet movements. "They're not just defeating us. They're learning from us." Council Elder Vex leaned forward. "Explain." "Look at this footage," Rex said. The hologram showed a human ship during their latest battle. It moved with the same grace as an Empire vessel, but carried weapons that no Empire engineer had ever imagined. They've taken our organic technology and merged it with their mechanical systems. They're creating things we thought were impossible. In another part of space, Admiral Stone watched as his fleet secured its latest victory. The captured Empire shipyards near Jupiter's orbit were being converted into production facilities. Dr. Miller's team had already begun modifying them to build hybrid ships, vessels that combine the best of human and Empire technology. "Status report," Stone ordered. "Sir," his tactical officer responded, "the Empire has pulled back to the outer system, but our long-range scouts report massive fleet movements in nearby star systems. They're gathering everything they have." Dr. Miller entered the bridge, carrying a data tablet. "Admiral, you need to see this. We've decoded more of their communications. The Empire, they're afraid." Back in the council chamber, Rex continued his report. "Every time we develop a counter to their weapons, they don't just make new ones. They make better ones. The gravity weapon they used. Our scientists say it shouldn't be possible, but humans did it anyway. Surely their resources must be limited," one council member argued. "They're just one world." Rex shook his head. "That's what makes them so dangerous. When we cut off their supply lines, they didn't weaken. They found ways to need fewer supplies. When we blocked their communications, they didn't go silent. They created new ways to communicate. They adapt faster than any species we've ever encountered." A hologram showed a new image, Earth's defense network. What had started as primitive satellites had evolved into a complex web of stations, each incorporating modified Empire technology. Human innovation had turned 3 weeks of warfare into decades of technological advancement. "We have reports from our frontier worlds," another council member added, her voice trembling. "The story of Earth's resistance is spreading. Other species are watching. Some are already talking about rebellion." In Earth's war room, Stone studied reports from their advanced scout ships. The Empire was indeed gathering its forces, the largest fleet assembly in their history. But something was different about their movements. "They're being cautious," Stone observed. "Their formations are loose. They're leaving room to retreat." "Can you blame them?" Dr. Miller asked. She pulled up an analysis on the main screen. "Look at their battle patterns. The Empire fights like they have 10,000 years of uncontested dominance. They expect everyone to follow the same rules, fight the same way. But humans, we fight like we might lose," Stone finished, "because we've always known we might." Back in the council chamber, Rex made his final point. "We have 2 choices. We can commit our entire fleet, every ship we have, to crush Earth immediately. But even if we win, we'll lose so many ships that our control over other worlds will weaken. The Empire might not survive." "And the second choice?" Elder Vex asked quietly. "We can acknowledge that we've discovered something new in the galaxy, a species that doesn't just use technology. They'd reimagine it. A species that turns defeat into opportunity. A species that learns." The council chamber erupted in heated discussion. In their 10,000 years of existence, the Empire had never retreated, never compromised, never admitted that another species might be their equal. But they had never met humans before. As the council debated, Earth's forces continued to grow stronger. Every passing day meant new innovations, new strategies, new ways of combining human creativity with Empire technology. The Empire had to decide quickly: face possible destruction in victory, or survive by accepting humanity as equals. And somewhere in the vast distance between Earth and the Empire's capital, countless alien species watched and waited, wondering if the unbeatable Empire had finally met its match in a species that turned impossible into a daily challenge. The massive Empire fleet hung in space like a dark cloud. 5,000 ships, every vessel the Empire could gather, waited at the edge of Earth's solar system. But they didn't advance. For the first time in their history, the Empire hesitated. General Rex stood on his command bridge, watching the tactical display. His new flagship, heavily modified to resist human weapons, was the largest ship ever built by the Empire. Yet he felt no pride in commanding it. "Sir," his officer reported, "the humans are approaching." But something's different. The human fleet emerged from light speed, led by Admiral Stone's flagship. Behind it came hundreds of ships, each one unique, a mix of human engineering and modified Empire technology. But among them were vessels that made Rex's eyes widen. "Those are transport ships," he realized. "They're not here to fight." Admiral Stone's voice came over all channels. "Attention Empire fleet. We're broadcasting on all frequencies and in all known languages. We come with a choice." In the Empire's High Council chamber, the leaders watched the transmission with growing confusion. Humans were supposed to be violent primitives. Yet here they were, approaching with diplomatic vessels while holding the tactical advantage. Stone continued, "Our first option is simple. We fight. You have more ships, but we have better ones. We'll win, but millions will die on both sides. That's not our preferred choice." Dr. Miller stood beside Stone on the bridge, holding a data crystal. "We're transmitting technical specifications now," she added. "Not of weapons, but of improvements we've made to your organic ship designs. Engines that are 50% more efficient, hull structures that heal twice as fast. This is our second option." Rex studied the incoming data. The improvements were real, and they were brilliant. Humans hadn't just copied Empire technology, they had perfected it. "You came to Earth expecting to find savages," Stone said. "Instead, you found equals. maybe even superiors in some ways. We don't want to destroy the Empire. We want to help improve it. Captain Wilson's voice joined in. Our scout ships have already contacted 15 of your frontier worlds. They've seen what we can do, not just in war, but in innovation. They're ready to support whoever wins this conflict. The Empire's fleet remained motionless. 10,000 years of being the supreme power made it hard to accept change. But the evidence was undeniable. In just 1 month, humans had advanced more than most species did in centuries. Stone pressed his advantage. Look at your own history. When was the last time the Empire actually improved? You've been maintaining the same technology, the same strategies, the same empire for thousands of years. We can help you grow again. In the council chamber, Elder Vex stood up. General Rex. He called over the command channel. Your evaluation of the situation. Rex looked at the human fleet. Their ships were already adapting, shifting positions in ways his tactical computers couldn't predict. Even as they offered peace, they were preparing new strategies for war. They could have attacked already, Rex replied. They've had superior position for the last 10 minutes. This isn't a trick. It's genuine opportunity. Stone made his final offer. Join us. Let Earth become part of the Empire, not as subjects, but as equals. Together, we can make the Empire stronger than ever. Or fight us, and watch everything you've built crumble. Dr. Miller pulled up new readings on her screen. They're powering down weapons, she said quietly, starting with the flagship. One by one, the Empire's ships dimmed their weapon signatures. Not in surrender, but in acceptance. The humans had done the impossible. They had earned the Empire's respect. General Rex opened a channel. Admiral Stone, the Empire accepts your offer of alliance. But know this, we will be watching Earth carefully. Stone smiled. Good. Watch us. Learn from us. And be ready, because humanity's drive to improve, to innovate, to push boundaries, it never stops. This isn't the end of our story, General. It's just the beginning. As the two fleets began to mingle, ships from both sides cautiously approaching each other, the galaxy held its breath. The unstoppable Empire and the uncontrollable humans were about to change everything. And somewhere on Earth, a young engineer looked at the specifications of an Empire ship and thought, I can make this better. 6 months after the historic peace agreement, the Empire's capital world hosted an event unprecedented in its 10,000-year history. For the first time, a new species would join the High Council not through conquest, but through earned respect. Admiral Stone stood in the massive council chamber, now wearing a new uniform that combined Earth military design with Empire formal wear. Behind him, Dr. Miller and Captain Wilson represented humanity's military and scientific achievements. The chamber was packed with representatives from 1,000 worlds, all eager to see the species that had changed everything. Welcome, humans, Elder Vex announced, his voice carrying across the chamber. In 1 month of conflict, you showed us more innovation than we had seen in a millennium. In 6 months of peace, you've proven even more remarkable. The main display activated, showing achievements from the Human-Empire cooperation. New shipyards around Mars built vessels that combined the best of both civilizations. Empire worlds adopted human-designed improvements that made their cities more efficient. Earth's colonies expanded rapidly using Empire organic technology. General Rex, now the Empire's chief of combined forces, stepped forward. When we first detected Earth's advancement, we saw it as a threat. We were right, but not in the way we thought. He gestured to the display showing new developments. Humanity threatened something far more dangerous than our military power. They threatened our complacency. Dr. Miller took the floor, holding up a small device. This is our latest project, a combination of Empire organic technology and human neural interface design. It allows direct communication between organic ships and their crews. The Empire said it was impossible. We did it in 3 weeks. The chamber erupted in excited murmurs. Species that had lived under Empire rule for thousands of years saw something new, the possibility of change. But more important than any technology, Stone added, is what humanity brings to the galaxy. We don't see boundaries. We see challenges. We don't accept limitations. We see opportunities. And now, neither does the Empire. The display showed new images. Empire ships protecting Earth colonies, human vessels helping distant Empire worlds, joint research projects producing innovations daily. What had started as a war had become something greater, a partnership that made both civilizations stronger. Captain Wilson brought up tactical displays showing combined human-Empire defense fleets. Our different approaches make us stronger together. Empire precision with human creativity. Empire stability with human innovation. We're not losing our identities. We're expanding them. Elder Vex raised his hand for silence. The Empire has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. We thought we had reached perfection. Humanity showed us that perfection isn't a destination. It's a journey. Stone took his place on the newly created human seat of the High Council. As he sat down, hundreds of holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing celebrations on worlds across the galaxy. The message was clear. Change had come to the Empire, and it was welcome. Let this be recorded, Elder Vex declared, as the day the Empire stopped ruling the galaxy and started growing with it. Humanity came to us as enemies, became our equals, and now stand as our teachers in many ways. In orbit above the capital, Earth's first official embassy ship prepared to dock. Its design was unlike anything the galaxy had seen, a perfect blend of human and Empire engineering. It represented everything the new alliance promised, the combining of different strengths to create something greater. We have one final announcement, Stone said, standing again. Earth's universities are opening their doors to students from all Empire worlds, and Empire technical institutes will welcome human students. Let the exchange of knowledge begin. Dr. Miller checked her data tablet and smiled. We're already receiving applications, thousands of them, from both sides. The chamber filled with applause. The Empire had found what it didn't know it needed, a species that refused to accept impossible as an answer. And humanity had found what it had always wanted, a galaxy full of new challenges to overcome. As the ceremony concluded, a young Empire engineer approached Dr. Miller with a design proposal. We thought this couldn't be done, he said excitedly, but using your methods. Miller smiled. The real victory wasn't the war, or even the peace. It was this, the moment when the galaxy learned to think like humans, to see problems as opportunities, barriers as challenges, and the impossible as simply the next goal to achieve. The Empire had warned humanity to run. Instead, humanity had taught the Empire to soar.